This is 1111 from Otto Audio. So what sets this amp plugin apart from other amp plugins? Well, besides the great distortion algorithm, the descending harmonics, the ability of this amp to keep very low-tuned guitars, even 9-string guitars, sounding clear, crisp, and articulate. Besides that, there's also the built-in width effect, which will give you the sense of a wide wall of sound, a double-tracked guitar track, a completely produced guitar track, while you're just playing along, riffing, trying to figure out what you want to play. So you can literally just throw in your favorite, drum virtual instrument, throw in 1111, and you'll sound much more like a finished track, a wide wall of sound, a double-tracked guitar track, just by playing your single guitar. So of course, to set that up, we use this control right down here. Now, of course, you can play in mono and double track as normal. First, let's look at this so we can actually see it and hear it. So first, we'll set this on mono, which is like any other guitar amp. And let's play and look at the scope. So everything is coming right down the middle, but watch what happens once we change this to mono to stereo. Boom! Right? It widens out and gives us that sense of a double-tracked guitar track, even though we're just using a single guitar track. Now, the way you set this up will vary between DAWs. Here in Studio One, it's super simple. Just throw 1111 on a track. Make sure that track is stereo just by clicking this button, and then come down here and set it to mono to stereo. Super simple. If you're in something like Pro Tools, you'll need to create a mono audio track and then load the mono to stereo version of 1111 on that track, and then you'll have that width effect right down here. So now let's go over the interface really quick here. Click this button to resize the interface, or just click and drag. Of course, right here in the middle, you have your tone stack. Don't really need to go into that. Gain, bass, middle, treble. We all know what this stuff does. Now, one thing to take note of is your presence and depth. If your feedback control, and by the way, just click right here on your tubes to go to the rear of the amp. If your feedback is turned all the way down, then these two controls won't have any effect. With the feedback control down, you'll get a more raw harmonic distortion, but if you want to use your presence and depth, then the higher you take this, of course, the more effect your presence and depth will have on your overall tone. Over here is your impedance curves. Click and choose the ones you want, or just use the arrow and use your ears. Use your impedance curves to sort of match more with your cabinets, which are right over here. Click and choose. You have 22 different cabinets. Also use the arrows and just use your ears. You can also go to the rear of the amp and switch through your cabinets as such. You can also bypass your impulse responses right here if you want to use your own impulse response loader. You can also sort of set up some differences between the cabinets by using your resonance control. Right down here, you have sort of the type of distortion or the tone or the foundation of your overall sound. You can get a lot, probably thousands of different total amp sounds just between this control here, sort of your foundation, right? And your impedance curves and your cabinets. So just these 3 different controls can give you a ton of different sounds. And then right down here, we have our presets, and there are tons of presets included, along with a bunch of amp matched presets. So be sure to check those out. Of course, create your own presets, recall them at will, create new banks, etc., etc. Right down here, we have our input for our guitar, and then the total output. We already know what that is. Then we already know about the width effect here. And then we have some oversampling. Of course, the higher it is, the more accurate it's going to be. And it's pretty well optimized algorithm. So take that up as high as your computer will allow. The punch, if you turn that off, it's essentially turning off your impedance curves. You can also turn off the power amp right here. And of course, that's going to turn off some stuff back here as well. And then to the back of the amp, we have a mod circuit, which is very subtle. You have a punish, which is going to tighten things up a bit. You have a +10 into that overdrive circuit and a plus low also into the overdrive circuit. We should know what a gate is, so if you're doing a lot of heavy chug work or djent stuff, you probably want to turn your gate up to, have a nice syncopated rhythm. You can choose your different tubes. Then you have full control of bias, sag, the feedback, and the snarl. And the amplitude is like the output for the power amp. So if you bias cold, you'll probably need to turn your amplitude up. If you bias hot, for example, you'll probably need to turn your amplitude down. All right, and we already know what the cabinet section does back here because we have already covered it, as well as those resonance knobs. All right, so if you want to pick this up for yourself, just head right over here. Of course, the link will be in the description below. Scroll down. If you want to hear more samples, there's even a free overdrive pedal that you can pick up. Head over here, get your free 14-day trial if you want to check it out before you purchase it. And also be on the lookout for any 50% off codes that might be out there at your time of purchase. All right, head over here, read more about this amp. Again, it sounds very crisp, very clear, and very articulate, even with extremely down-tuned guitars. So if you want an aggressive sound, a brutal sound, a wide wall of sound, a double-tracked sound, a produced sound right from your amp, you might want to check this one out. All right, again, head over here. Link will be in the description below, and experience the unbridled brutality of 1111 from Otto Audio.